friends from Nigeria. I'm Jean-Luc CHETRIT. I'm the Managing Director of Union des Marques, which is a French advertiser association, and I'm very pleased to be with this video with you today. Unfortunately, I cannot attend the 9th edition of the Advent events, but I am very pleased to talk about a topic that I am passionate about, which is creativity and its value for brands and business. In France, as in many countries in the world, a lot of advertisers has been spending a lot of time and energy in the last few years on programmatic, digital channels, data and technology. And unfortunately, they have not been focusing very much on content and creativity. That's why we decided here in France to launch the Creative Lab, which was an initiative that was allowing advertisers to understand what is the hidden value of creativity. Creativity is a jewel for marketers when they are able to activate it properly. So that's what we did when we launched the Creative Lab. We dared to take the major brands like Coca-Cola, Accor, Nestlé, and others, many others, and tell them that we would open a creative competition in which everyone could participate. And the brief would only be to show your love for the brand. And the validation would not be done by advertisers, but would be done by the people, the journalists, the people of the world of communication and media, and they would be choosing the creatives that win and then would be displayed in media that are partners of the Creative Lab. So that's what we did, and to measure how effective is creativity, we partnered with Kantar to measure creativity effectiveness and how does it stand compared to their standards. The 4 editions, we already have 4 editions of this Creative Lab, have been demonstrated very consistently the same results. In terms of engagement, the scores that creativity deliver are between 1.7 and 2 times higher than the norm. They drive more engagement because they drive more difference. And because they drive more engagement, they are more effective in driving change in behavior and purchase, which again is scoring at 75% higher than when you have an average creativity. So it means that when you free creativity, you do deliver higher results. And how do you free creativity? Some of the learning that we have been having is that you free creativity when you don't go into briefs that are too prescriptive of the results you want to get, and you don't kill ideas at the early stage of ideation, but you let these ideas go through. That's rule number one to enhance the value of creativity. Rule number 2, open the creativity to everyone. It is not only a topic for agencies, but you have already in the world many opportunities to have ideas created by the people that can deliver added value for you, which means sometimes startups, other times students. In our Creative Lab, we have been really opening up the source of creativity, and it has been really fantastic for us. And the last point I want to mention is that creativity and free creativity, it is not opposing responsibility. And when you add creativity and responsibility, as we do with one of our member, Renault, the car manufacturer, who has been engaged with us in a responsible communication program, and we've been working with them on the new commercial for Renault Twingo. And for this car, for the first time ever, we've been able with them to demonstrate that creativity plus showing and demonstrating in the advertising that when you show different people from the average of what we see in a car advertising, and that's the case of Renault Twingo, where you see senior people, where you see people with different physic conditions. When you see them in a very natural way, then it has much higher effect, and it's 25% more effective than a classic advertising, which means that unstereotyping the communication, it is much more effective and creative than what we had in the past. So let me conclude briefly my perspective on the topic. I think we have in this topic of creativity a fantastic opportunity for all the marketers. It is free of charge because it's just about ideas, and when you activate them properly, you do deliver much more value and long-term value and sustainable value for the brands. And I will conclude just with one example of a brand that has been going through our creative lab, and this brand I think is well known also in Nigeria, is KFC. And KFC, if I may, I will show you one advertising. KFC, and it was just before the World Cup. So when you see the KFC creative that was proposed in our creative lab, you see a very nice chicken wing that has been positioned as a World Cup, and this idea has been taken by KFC for the campaign, just following the very, of course, very pleasing for us in France victory of the French team in the World Cup. And so they used the creative that we had proposed and delivered it in the #1 sports newspaper in France, L'Équipe, and was one of the most effective advertising which drove visits in the store that they had so far. So with this, let me wish you a very interesting conference, and I'll be happy to connect with you if you want to hear more about what we're doing in France on creativity. Thank you.